More info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
And knocked down again. That was Christian Miller.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 12:30 WTBC. A very special Wednesday edition of the show. Why that is? Well, it is officially fall camp time. I know we kind of jumped the gun a little bit yesterday. Not really, because it was report day. I mean, it did officially start yesterday. But today is the first practice day, which they just concluded practice, meaning we will hear from head coach Kalen DeBoer in a few short minutes, Reed. So I'm really fired up about that. We'll get to hear what he had to say following practice number one. Tomorrow they'll practice again, as well as Friday. Both of those will be open to the media for the I always say pre-practice periods. It's not really pre-practice, but the individual periods, early periods, open things up for the media. So today, even though they hit the practice field, you won't be flooded with all those clips from the media of guys going through drills, the quarterbacks throwing, the DBs, getting in their drops, the D-line hitting the bags. You won't get those videos today, unfortunately. But tomorrow, you will get those. And Friday, of course. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to diving into all y'all's questions. I know everybody's burning to talk about Alabama football because it's officially here, Reed. The dog days of summer have officially concluded. I mean, they technically are just kind of starting back up for the guys, that are playing, right? Thank God I'm not in those shoes anymore because it's too hot for me. Not trying to do all that, run around with all that equipment in 100-degree heat. But for them, they're in the dog days of summer, which, hey, listen, that's how you build character. We're talking about building physicality and toughness, man. What better way to do it than in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, early August when we know it's literally at its hottest point, right? So we're going to be talking all things fall camp today, recapping practice number one. Now, again, wasn't, a media availability practice. So we're going to go off of what Coach DeBoer has to say at his press conference. We also have media day on, I think, Saturday, where they're going to open the floor to pretty much a bunch of guys. It's not just, because post-practice, let me go back a second, Reed. Let me kind of break it down. So the way things work with the practice schedule, right? I mentioned the other day. So you'll have like 5 or so practices that are open to the media, or have them. Let me say this. Let me reword this. That's not good wording. It's not open practice. People are going to show up to Mount Moore because they're listening to the Miller's Edge thinking it's an open practice.
I was about to say, don't have them rush it.
People will be climbing and scaling the gate. Say, hey, I heard Christian say it's an open practice. What's going on? No. There's media availability for about 5 practices. The next 2 practices, tomorrow and Friday, and then the following week, there's going to be 2 more, I think, and then like maybe 1 more a few days later. And that's, I think, pretty much it for media availability during practice. They are continuing the post-practice media availability for the players and coaches as well, right? Where they have like a defensive day. You'll hear from like defensive coordinator Kane Womack. Some of the defensive players will be available in the indoor to get those interviews. I'm not going to be able to be up there because that happens around like 11:15, right? So we're currently live on air. So maybe we'll send some folks up there. Speaking of that, we're open to getting some interns on board. I don't mention this enough, but I've been thinking about this. We could use some help. So if there's any, maybe UA students that are studying, communications or, I guess that'd probably have to be a requirement. Maybe not. I don't know. But if you can do an internship and you're interested in working with us here on the Miller's Edge, maybe hit us up because we probably could figure some things out. That goes for social media, but also if you guys want to cover some stuff, y'all could go up there and be our boots on the ground while I'm running my mouth. You can just live feed, I guess, these interviews and stuff for us. And, we can talk about that. So, yes, we are accepting internship applications. I don't even have that set up yet, but just go to our website, themillersedge.com. You can get the contact info, email us if you guys are interested. But, probably preferably students because I think that's normally how internships work. Or I guess young folks that are just in the field that maybe want to get some experience that would probably help us out.
And
you got any friends? I mean, you would probably know.
Yeah, I might have a few, but I was gonna say, like, and especially Christian, if you could get it official, there's a class over at the university that I've already maxed out on, but it's called JCM 382. It's a internship course that you take to get credit hours. You could take it up to 3 times, and you get a total and max of 6 credit hours. So, not too
so
bad.
that's for doing internships, right?
Yes. You get per like hour. So like for 1 hour, like, and you can only get a max of 3 per semester. So for 1 hour it's 90, 2 hours it's 180, and then 3 hours 270. So my first time I took it, I got a little under that first hour threshold. I think I got like 150, so I got 1. Then the second time I got like 300, so I got 3. And then the time that I took it this last semester, I got like to that 2, so I fully maxed it out.
Well, if you got any suitors or any folks that you know, Reed, definitely put them in contact with us, because we definitely could use the help. Because we'll be getting those media availability periods after practice, pretty much every practice, right? In terms of the media being able to go see practices, maybe like 5 of those. But after practice, interviews and whatnot, that's pretty much every practice. And today is going to be starting with head coach Kalen DeBoer. He is the only one available. I don't think there's players today, but head coach Kalen DeBoer. So he's going to be speaking here in a few minutes. We'll carry that about as live as we can, right? Might be a few minutes after. But that said, we'll listen to it. We'll break it down, and we'll discuss what he had to say following practice number 1. I just can't believe it's already back, Reed. And we're really about a month away from the first game.
Yeah, it just flies by. It really does.
Yeah, it does. It feels like we just concluded A-Day and we were gearing up for summer. Now we're already at fall camp, which, speaking of fall camp time, that comes with a lot of, I guess, predictions, things that people have been doing, but I think people are now kind of making official their expectations, their predictions, right? They're saying, hey, it's fall camp time. Let's go ahead and get these in now. We're locking them in, and then we're going to see how things go. Because, Reed, I've got like 3 that I've seen already from the folks over at On3, different individuals with their predictions for Alabama's 2026 football season. So we need to talk about that. We'll listen to those clips. We'll probably do that after we hear from head coach Kalen DeBoer, because I know that's going to be coming up here shortly. And speaking of coming up, which the season is, I mentioned this yesterday, but just to confirm, talked with the folks over at the Crimson Tide Sports Network yesterday, man. Love Jim and Roger and all them. Great team over there. Chris Torrey, they're awesome, man. And I mentioned this yesterday, but just to remind you guys, right? So I host the post-game show, but now I'll be hosting the pregame show with Roger Hoover in that first hour on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. So you get to hear me pregame and postgame. So if you guys, enjoy breakdowns and all that stuff. Now, of course, we can't really do a breakdown pregame, but we'll do, what to expect kind of deal, preview, right? So we'll have the preview on the pregame show and the breakdown on the postgame show with Gray Robertson. So make sure you guys check that out. Of course, downloading that Tide 100.9 app lets you listen to not just us, but all the shows here on the station, but also listen to Alabama football games and the pre and post game show, where you can hear me, Roger, Gray, the whole crew, right? It's going to be fun. I'm really excited about that. So I just confirmed all that yesterday. Just want to keep pointing that out, keep plugging that. That way you guys can keep up with, I guess, all the broadcasting I'll be doing this football season, which is always fun, man. Keeps me busy. I'm really excited about that. It's definitely a blessing to be able to just talk football and make a living doing that. I really, really enjoy that. And I appreciate you guys helping make that possible. So, Reed, let's do this. Let's go ahead and hit our timeout just a little bit early. That way we can be ready once this Kalen DeBoer press conference is underway. We'll carry that as live as we can. Again, we'll watch it here. You can always tune into our streams at the Miller's Edge right here on YouTube, on X, the Tide 100.9 Facebook page, my personal X account at Christian Mill R. That way you can watch us do the show. We can watch Kalen DeBoer's press conference. You can interact with everybody in the chat, hang out, have a good time, ask your questions. It's a vibe. Why wouldn't you want to do that? We always encourage you guys to do it. If you have any of those platforms, definitely check us out at the Miller's Edge. As we get rocking and rolling, football is officially here. Practice number 1 in the books. We'll hear from head coach Kalen DeBoer coming up very shortly.
Crimson Tide, sold in stadium and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Blazing sunshine, high temperatures 93 this afternoon. Calm winds means the humid air will feel thick, pushing heat index values to 100 degrees this afternoon. Partly cloudy this evening, a muggy low tonight at 74. Thursday, sunny skies 94. Slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, sunny skies to close out the week, sizzling temperatures in the mid-90s. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 87 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
This Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're waiting for this Coach DeBoer interview, press conference, I should say. That's coming up very shortly. We'll get that as soon as it drops live, and we'll listen to it and react to it. He will be discussing practice number 1. That is in the books now. Remember, they get to the practice field a little early, around like 9:15, 9:20ish or whatever, finish up probably around 11 or so, and so typically he starts making his way to the indoor, so we will hear from him very shortly. We'll have that video played live on our live stream. So if you guys want to watch the press conference, check us out on our YouTube channel at The Miller's Edge. Of course, on all the other platforms at The Miller's Edge is where you can find us. In the meantime, I did see, Reed, that he sat down with Andrew Bone, the newest member of the Yay Alabama team, ahead of this practice, right? And they put out, I guess, the article this morning kind of leading up to the practice. So we'll start here as we await his official press conference following practice number 1. But they covered a number of things, expectations and the culture, the off-season work, how he's going to make a decision when it comes down to the quarterback battle. So I'll kind of just pick and choose a few things from here. Plus, we got some updated numbers, Reed, on the weights, right, of all the players going down the roster. There were some noticeable changes, I think. We can't hit on everybody. There's probably too many guys to point out, but off the top of my head, I think a few that stood out. Jackson Lloyd put on some good size, which I think is very beneficial. We know that he's a talented guy, coming out of California. I know he played basketball. I think he played multiple sports, really good athlete. You can see it in his footwork. I think he fits what they want to do, but one of the things that I think he could benefit from is getting a little bit stronger, right? I think if you turn on the tape, and again, very young, he barely played last year, and he's only been on campus maybe a year and a half, because he's a redshirt freshman now. Listen, you kind of expect this, right? He's going to get bigger and stronger, but sometimes on tape, he struggles at really anchoring down, right? When people hit him with that speed to power, that kind of shows up. He gets walked back a little bit. So seeing some of that added weight, I think, is a big plus, right? I think he put on around 9 pounds or so, something like that. So that stood out to me because he is the projected starting left tackle, very important position. And if one of the areas of weakness in his game was handling and anchoring down on power, I think it's going to be very beneficial to add a little bit more mass heading into training camp. So that stood out to me. How about Xavier Griffin? Reed, I don't know if you saw this, but he's now up to 228 pounds. So he's pushing 230 going into his freshman campaign. And this was a guy that I remember they were talking about him being maybe, around 200, 205 coming out of high school. He came in, put in the work during the spring. He got up to around 222. Now he's entering fall camp at 228, which is good. You always want to enter at a little bit heavier if you can, because you already know, right? With the practice schedule, with the heat, everybody drops a bunch of weight during fall camp. For me, I always wanted to show up as heavy as possible, because if I showed up at 225 in about a week or two, I'm probably 215, just because it's so hard. And yes, they're feeding you and fueling you with all these things, these shakes, the smoothies, the food. Half the time, Reed, you think you have a big appetite after running around in the sun for hours and doing all this stuff? No. But 228 for him, I love it, because, we've been talking about it. He's probably going to get some more looks on the edge at that wolf spot, more than likely in passing situations, but could be a situation where he could grow into playing a little bit of wolf, right? I think it really just depends on team needs. I think he'd excel both inside and at outside backer. So seeing him at 228 was, in my opinion, very encouraging, right, in terms of him getting on the field early, which we know, from a pass rush standpoint and an ability standpoint, he's got a little bit of that quick twitch that just separates him from the rest of the pack. And I've seen him at 228, Reed. I feel like that feels like he's even closer to probably seeing some type of role or having some type of contribution. We expected him to have one, but if I'm being honest with you, if he was at 210, it would be an uphill battle. Not saying he couldn't find a role. I mean, special teams, we all know he could play. Maybe still try to put him out there in certain situations or at times, right? But at 210, you'd be a little bit like, okay, there's some limitations here. At 228, I mean, if you look at the inside backers from last season, I mean, he's already bigger than, I want to say those guys averaged like 225. Deontay Lawson had lost weight, and he was playing around 225, at least for a large portion of the season. We all know Justin Jefferson was always on the smaller side. I don't think he really was ever. He might have got up to around 228, but realistically, he was lighter than that. Nikhil Green was probably the biggest one. So the fact that you're seeing Xavier Griffin already at 228 pounds, I mean, even if you're playing him at stack backer, I think he could probably hold his own. Now, strength and all that, I don't know his strength numbers, right? Like in the weight room, that's a whole other thing too, because you're talking about taking on those big old guards, right? In the SEC, you can't just be big; you got to be strong too.
Yeah.
But I would imagine he's a great athlete. I'm sure he's got a little bit of something to him, but I really was impressed to see that. I think Devin Tompkins put on a couple pounds. Nothing really big there, 298 to 300, but it is interesting. I mean, because you're starting to see not just him, but some of these other guys that I feel like have similar, projections, right? Like some of the young guys. I want to say, is it Nolan Wilson? I feel like they had him listed as 285 now, and like it's like 35 pounds more than what he was originally listed at. I don't know if that's actually kind of how much he gained or if he was already a little bit bigger and the weight was wrong initially. But to me, it almost feels like he's kind of has a similar frame. I think he's also around 6'5", right? So, I mean, I think that's almost kind of, you've seen an evolution at the bandit spot. They almost are going a little bit bigger, right? Knowing that these guys are going to be very strong at the point of attack when playing at that 5 technique, 6 technique spot, maybe have a tight end in front of them, be on the tackle. But then they have the ability to really hold at the point of attack when they have to kick down some, right? And play a little bit more in odd fronts, that 4-eye technique. So just some interesting stuff with some of those guys. Did you get to see these numbers? Were there anybody that stood out to you? I know Keelan Russell put on a few pounds, like 6 pounds, which is good. Added mass for him. That's always a plus. It's a benefit. I think he's up to like 207, right? So that's trending in the right direction. I'm trying to think if there's anything like very noticeable. I know Caleb Woodson's now at 240. I mean, it's only a couple pounds there, but just knowing he's bigger than the backers you had last year, but probably just as athletic. I mean, you get really excited about kind of what he brings to the table, right? I mean, what do you think, Reed? I mean, any other numbers stood out to you?
No, I mean, I only saw a few, just some basic ones that you touched on. But I think Xavier Griffin, for sure, I think he's trying to, like you said, of course, lifting, and actually having that weight on are two different things. But at least from the weight aspect, he's pretty much giving the coaches no choice but to try to put him on the field at least for year one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like, man. I mean, listen, you got to be undeniable. You got to make yourself undeniable. And things like that, addressing areas of weakness, not saying, again, it's not like a huge area of weakness, but that's one thing, right? You just say, hey, the guy's got all the talent, but we need him to be a little bit bigger, right? Well, he's answering that bell, right? I mean, every time he shows back up, whether it's from summer, spring, whatever, the guy's continuously putting on weight. You see him. He's always training. He's always working. I just think his future's so bright, man.
I was going to say, yeah, and it's kind of like you always touch upon about Christian, about how Nick Saban's always saying that but factor, right? He's trying to completely eliminate that so they have no other choice but like saying we have no reason not to, play him. Yeah,
I mean, that's what you have to do, man. Eliminating the buts, the BUTs, right? The BUTS. You got to eliminate those. In terms of just kind of wrapping up that conversation on the weights, I know Terrence Green, he dropped 6 pounds. Kind of interesting there. I know they wanted to get bigger up front, which he definitely, from a frame standpoint, he's much bigger, right? Tim Keenan was 6'2", maybe like 6'1", 3/4. Now you're talking about you got a 6'5" nose tackle, so the length is much improved. He originally was 330. Now, and then he got down to like 319. Now he lost a few more pounds. I think he's down to 313. So that's going to be interesting to see, right? How does that? I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say like, oh man, he dropped the weight. Now he's going to be this elite pass rusher. But he definitely is more of a run stuffer, same thing. But can this translate, right, to some more pass rush ability? Maybe, I don't know. These are little things I'm just curious about that we'll definitely be paying attention to over the next few weeks of fall camp. Now that I have the list pulled up here, Nick Brooks, he's dropped some weight. The Texas transfer, who they had playing a little bit of guard, and he's working in at some tackle. And we talked a little bit about him last week. Listen, I think if you're going to work him at tackle, I like that he's dropping some weight because he was a big guy. I think he initially was like 360 pounds. So to see that he's trending in the right direction, dropping some, down to 333, I think that's going to allow him to move much better if he is in fact going to be competing at that right tackle spot. And 330 is still plenty big enough, right? Don't get it twisted, especially at his height. He's a big dude. He's tall too. So I'm curious to see how he looks. Now, he was already down to 339, so it's just a 6-pound difference. But from last season, him being 360 to now him being in that low 330 range, I think could be a big benefit. Similar to what we talked about last season, like with Caden Proctor being that left tackle. We know, listen, he had his limitations, he had his struggles, especially with speed rushers, right? Kind of turning open the gate. We all know that. But he was a great athlete, especially for a bigger guy. And I used to talk about this all the time. If he were to have had this type of transformation like Nick Brooks, right? Because Proctor was in the 360s, maybe not even 330, maybe he got down to like 340. I think it would have benefited him so much. I think he would have been so much more comfortable in space, right? Because he already had the athleticism, but I just think like just 360 is just you don't need to be that big, right? It's overkill. And I wish we could have seen that type of transformation for him, at least a consistent one, because I remember there was rumors that he had dropped a lot of weight, and everybody was like, man, he's listed at this now. And then I'm up at the complex like the next day, and I'm like looking at him, I'm like, bro, he looks damn near the same. Either he holds his weight extremely well. I'm like, I don't know if he lost as much weight as everybody's saying he did. I think that might have been some fake news, but Nick Brooks, I will be curious to see how that works out for him. And then just putting a bow on it. Racing Delgatti, 301 to 305. Always good to add a little bit more, again, a little bit more mass there. A guy that's coming from Cal Poly, going to have to make that transition, going against the big boys in the SEC. I think 305 is a good weight for him, and he's expected to be your starting center. So I would say I was encouraged. Again, these are just weights and numbers. I don't want to overreact to them, but just some little observations. I do think when you look at the offensive line, I want to tip my hat at those guys because I feel like they did the things necessary over the summer to prepare themselves for the season, whether it was the guys that needed to drop some pounds or the guys that needed to put on a few pounds, right? Jackson Lloyd, Racing Delgatti, adding a little bit of weight. Then you see guys like Nick Brooks, right, going in the opposite direction. To me, I'm like, hey, for a group that we know has a lot of question marks, if there's one thing we can draw from it, and maybe it's a stretch, they're locked in. I mean, they're doing the necessary things to make sure themselves as individuals are in the best position possible for these competitions that are brewing on the offensive line. I mean, can we at least say that? That's not an overreaction.
No, I was going to say a good sign is better than no sign.
There you go. Yeah. So I think we all can agree on that. All right, let's do this. We'll hit this timeout when we come back. Hopefully we'll have this interview or this press conference. I keep calling it an interview. I guess same thing. This press conference from head coach Kalen DeBoer coming up following practice number 1, getting his thoughts on what went down on the first day on the football field in training camp. We'll hear that very shortly right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-914.
Sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us. The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers.
Who are resilient
And won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches.
Athletic trainers and mentors who are shaping 2 lines of essentials, choice 55, $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Find Tide on Twitter at Tide109 to keep up with show announcements, guests, and our reporters in the field.
Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Fall camp officially here, Reed. Officially the first day of fall camp, the official first day. Yesterday was the first day. Today is the official first day because practice number 1 is now in the books. We're scheduled to hear from head coach Kalen DeBoer any minute now, but I know we still have a couple minutes probably until that's pulled up. So let's do this. I see we got a phone call. Let's take a question or two. We'll go to the phone lines while we wait to hear from head coach Kalen DeBoer. 205-342-9904. We have Robert up first. Robert, welcome in.
Hey, bud. Hey, I was listening to the last part of what you said about Proctor. Don't you know? I don't know if you knew. You might already. I might have missed this. Before the combine, he lost like 30 or 40 pounds. He didn't do it. What he didn't do it was in Tuscaloosa. He did it when he was heading to the combine. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did hear about that. Now that you bring that up, you're right. He did lose some.
That kind of makes him mad, to be honest with you. But we paid him a bunch of money, and he never didn't put the effort into losing the weight while he was here. He did it when he was heading to the combine. I don't know how it fits well. It doesn't fit well with me, but whatever. Maybe there's more to the story.
No, well, that's fair. But you know what's interesting though? It's not like he. I would say in the past, it'd be like, well, I get it, man. He's working to get that bag, but he was getting the bag here. Not only he got one from us, he went to Iowa, got a little bit of one, got another one when he came back here. I mean, so like he had plenty of, I guess, motivation to do it too. So I understand that is a little bit frustrating. But
I mean, he was a 5-star, right? I mean, the hype with him was huge. And I would say he was a very good player. He wasn't a great player now, but he was very good. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't elite as far as, but based on what he was built up to be, in my opinion. But I just thought when I heard that heading into the combine, I was kind of like, what's up? It didn't make any sense. But I enjoy your show, man. I'm ready for football. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Oh, okay. Nice, short and sweet, man. He just wanted to say, hey, man, listen, Caden Proctor, he ticked me off, man. Appreciate it. Love the show. Hey, I like it, man. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. To his point, I don't know how much he lost in total, Reed. I'm trying to pull it up. I'm trying to see what he's listed at for Miami. I do know that he's been moved to guard, which a lot of people projected that would be the case once he got to the NFL. I think that's a really good fit for him. He's a very powerful guy, very strong guy. He's a mover, right? He's a mauler. I would imagine if we had a better left tackle behind him that you could trust in, I mean, there probably would have been at least a consideration to work him in at guard, especially given that we really struggled at that spot. He probably could have got you some really nice movement, man. Imagine the combo blocks. But then again, I'm watching tape and I'm seeing him working some deuce blocks at the tackle spot. And, he's in charge of banging that hip and climbing up, and he just kind of giving a little tap. I'm like, I don't know. Don't get me started on offensive line last year. We're going to wait and see how this offensive line takes shape. That's clearly one of the biggest things that we're going to be paying attention to during fall camp, trying to see kind of the position battles, the chemistry, how everybody falls into place. But really, right, execution, that's a big deal, right? I mean, of course, we want to see more physicality. That's first and foremost. But really, man, the execution piece, Reed, that was something that lacked a lot. And hopefully the expectation is Adrian Clem and staff can try to improve on that. Because I think, and I mentioned that on my run game breakdown, like, of course, being more physical in the run game is important. We know that, right? Getting more push initially, it all starts with that. However, execution alone, I think, could have a really big impact on that running game. Even if it's just a small, marginal type of impact, it's something. And at the end of the day, man, you just got to have balance. You got to be able to run the ball to take pressure off your quarterback, take pressure off the offense. And if they can find a way to do that, then I think this offense will be even better, especially given that you got yourself a young quarterback, whether it's going to be Austin Mack or Keelan Russell. We're still waiting on head coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference. And I apologize. I know you guys are eager to hear from him. And trust me, I really want to hear from him and hear what he had to say. But I promise we'll get to that as soon as it comes up. So in the meantime, Reed, we did have some of these, I guess, schedule predictions or I guess record predictions for Alabama. I guess we can go ahead and dive into those while we are waiting for this press conference to be pulled up. Let's start with, they're all from the gentleman at On 3, and they broke it down specifically on wins and losses. We'll start with, I guess, Blaine Crane from Crane & Co. We'll get his Alabama record prediction. Then we'll listen to a couple more. Then we'll get y'all's as we await the press conference from head coach Kalen DeBoer following practice number 1. Here we go. Blaine Crane.
Alabama record prediction. Hold my hand. East Carolina at home. Win. At Kentucky. Win. Sorry, Sammy. Florida State at home. Win. South Carolina at home. Win. Mississippi State on the road. Close, but win. Georgia at home. Loss. Tennessee on the road. Win. A&M at home. Loss. Bye week at LSU. Loss. Vandy at home. Diego Pavia not there. Win. Chattanooga. Iron Bowl. Alabama 9-3.
There you go. So I just wanted to let him say that last piece. Just give you guys some motivation. I know our fans hate hearing that. Here, all right. I got his record prediction here pulled up on the screen. That way we can refresh our minds right here. So he's got Alabama going 5-0 to start the season, right? First loss, Georgia at home. Then he has us going on the road and beating Tennessee. But then 2 back-to-back losses. Texas A&M, another loss at home. Remember, there's that bye week ahead of LSU, which, historically speaking, Alabama has fared very well, right? Because there's always that bye week before you go play LSU, whether it's at home or away. And typically, Alabama, I mean, I would say our record on the road at LSU is very good, right? I don't have the specific numbers in front of me. I do know when I was here, I never lost to them. We always not just beat them. I feel like we when I was here, like my 5 years when we played at LSU, as tough as an environment as it is, we always wouldn't handle business, man. And I don't know what it was about it. It almost was like that environment like fired us up, right? It's hard to explain, man. Death Valley is just, it's a different breed, man. But he has us losing Death Valley, then finishing the final 3 games 3-0, right? Vanderbilt, Chattanooga, and Auburn. Big win in the Iron Bowl. Here's my thing, Reed. This prediction has us losing 2 games at home, which that's a little tough to kind of to feel out, right?
That's what I was thinking.
You know, because, I mean, Bryant-Denny Stadium, like, I know I've made comments, and I'm just being honest. This is me being completely transparent. I mean, I don't think we have the rowdiest atmosphere in the SEC. I don't. I mean, we're probably maybe top 5 when it's really up there. But, I mean, like, I think of Tennessee, A&M, LSU, even Auburn. You know, those places feel like, you know, sometimes I feel like Alabama fans are so respectful, and they're so used to just beating folks down. Like, you know, we don't have, like, the rowdiest environment. That said, we are very, very tough to beat at home. Not saying it's impossible, but very tough to beat at home. It's hard for me to see those 2 losses at home. I almost feel, because I've said my prediction feels a little bit more in that 9-3 range, just because of the youth of this team. So many question marks. Knowing that we've in the past 2 years at least dropped a game we probably shouldn't. That's why I kind of feel like 9-3 is a possibility, because it's like, all right, if you drop one of those games that you're not like an unexpected loss, right, that we've seen. And then 2 losses to maybe like Georgia or one of those other, you know, LSU or A&M, right? Like I feel like that feels possible given all the circumstances this year. But I don't know if I see it like this. I'm not saying this can't happen, but I don't know if I see us dropping 3 of those 4 in that stretch. If we go 9-3, I feel like there would be like maybe 1 loss kind of those first 5 games, maybe one of those games you don't expect, or maybe, and I hate to say it like this, but something like the Iron Bowl, you know what I mean? Like one of those very emotional games. Or just what I feel like it might be one that you don't necessarily have Alabama losing. That said, I think 10-2 is definitely in the realm of possibilities. I think 11-1 is really starting to feel like you're stretching. If I'm just being honest, just as young as we are as a football team, the offensive line, I mean, there's so much hanging on them. You still have a lot of youth up front at that position paired with youth at the quarterback position. If I'm just being honest, I know people get upset hearing that. 11-1 feels like a stretch. But you have to remember, guys, like we're in a new age now. We're playing a 9-game conference schedule, right? There's more parity in college football than ever. So to me, 10-2 is like the new 11-1 anyways. I think if you can go 10-2 on a year-to-year basis in this league, and you're making the college football playoffs, I'll be honest with you, I don't think anybody should be complaining too much. Of course, it's not going to be fun to lose 2 games because no one wants to lose anyway. And then you're used to maybe losing 1 game over the last 2 decades, throughout the regular season. I get it, but remember, time's a little bit different. That's not an excuse. That's just kind of how things are right now. But you don't want to lose games that you should lose. That's my biggest thing. So I said this yesterday, and I'll piggyback off of that. If it were to be the case where it played out like this, right, you do lose to Georgia, A&M, LSU, all 3 teams that are expected to be college football playoff type contending teams, right? I think we all can agree on that. Maybe people disagree with LSU because they have a tough schedule and they got a lot of newness as well. So, I mean, maybe not. You get what I'm saying. But A&M and Georgia both made the college football playoffs last year. And LSU, they have a really good roster of guys, comprised of guys they brought in via the transfer portal. And their staff is a really good coaching staff. So, I mean, I think people have high expectations. That said, if these are like close losses, Reed, similar to what we talked about, I mean, it's kind of in line with what I was almost thinking preseason. So I wouldn't be too upset. Of course, I'd be upset not making the college football playoff. But if we put out a physical product, we put out a team every week that was competitive, you know what I mean? Didn't have a whole bunch of mistakes. The execution's better. You see them fighting. You see them have that toughness, that mentality that we're yearning for. But they're just close losses, right? I mean, listen, I could take away from that this upcoming year that, hey, we saw progress in the key areas when you pop the hood, right? We've talked about that, not the results, but the actual, the guts, right? The meat and potatoes. Because from year 1 to year 2, we talked about this yesterday. I don't think there's been big improvement with the meat and potatoes. The results, we've seen improvement, but under the hood, I don't think we've seen big improvement. That's what I really want to see. So if that results in something like this, I think we can hang our hat on the fact that 2027, you pretty much got all these guys coming back. And they're going to be older. They're going to be more experienced. I think you feel really confident like that. But that's looking way too far ahead. We got a couple more record predictions we'll talk about. And we'll listen to them, we'll respond, react to them, get y'all's thoughts on this as well. Plus, we'll hear from head coach Kalen DeBoer in his very first press conference of the 2026 football season following practice number 1. That's coming up shortly right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTVC. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-91.
During the More to Move You event at Tuscaloosa Mazda. New location, corner of Skyland East Boulevard and Palisades Drive. TuscaloosaMazda.com. For details, visit TuscaloosaMazda.com.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies
And the dreamers
trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are
of the Crimson Tide. Sold in stadium and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel, a specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of The Game, we'll recap Alabama's first practice. Kalen DeBoer audio. We'll talk to Aaron Torres. We'll catch up with Alex Scarborough. Bama 247 Sports right here starting at 2 p.m. on The Game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Blazing sunshine, hot temperatures 93 this afternoon. Calm winds means the humid air will feel thick, pushing heat index values to 100 degrees this afternoon. Partly cloudy this evening, a muggy low tonight at 74. Thursday, sunny skies, 94. Slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, sunny skies to close out the week, sizzling temperatures in the mid-90s. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 88 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama Crimson Tide lives right here. Touchdown, Alabama! On Tide 100.9.
Edition, first day of fall camp edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We got a whole bunch of folks hanging out watching, and we appreciate you guys keeping up with us. I know we got this Kalen DeBoer press conference coming up. Don't worry, I promise it is coming as soon as possible. Maybe it got started a little bit late, Reed. Maybe so. I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing the clips from it pop in now. So that said, it has happened or it's happening. We just need the live link, which should be coming up here shortly. So we only have a few minutes for this top of the hour break. So hopefully the game plan should be, Reed, when we come back from the top of the hour break, we'll have the full interview. Worst case, we can start just throwing up some of these clips kind of in the meantime, just to kind of, give you some breadcrumbs, right? So we give you the whole loaf, because I know everybody's fired up in awaiting that. Let me turn it over to you, Reed, and let me ask you real quick. Day one in the books. Anything you're looking to hear or expectations from this press conference? I know and I get it. It's day one. I'll be the first one to tell you guys. Day one of football practice, football camp is always. We talked about orientation day yesterday, just getting your playbooks, kind of getting the schedule, getting everything down pat. Day one of practice is very similar, but on the practice field. Right? I mean, it's a practice, but you're talking about you're going over like day one install. So you're kind of laying the foundation. You're really trying to, get the practice schedule and the practice habits, formed, right? So don't expect like anything crazy. It's just a helmets type practice, kind of going out. I'm not saying going through the motions, right? It's definitely a football practice, but there's probably not going to be anything groundbreaking. That said, I'm sure there's probably going to be a little development here or there that we can probably go off of. Anything that you're expecting or that you want to hear, Reed, when we get to this press conference?
No, Christian, I think the main thing was, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, is that they're not going through the motions. Now, credit, like you said, like it's just going to be day one, right? Like I'm not expecting them to go out and be like full ready as if the season's starting tomorrow, but I kind of just want them to come ready to go. Like you're ready to learn and you're ready to prepare for this long stretch before the season starts. And then I think on top of that, of course it's a correlation between the NFL, but hopefully just that, even though it is day one, that no one finds a way to get hurt. I mean, I think that's the last thing that we'd want. I don't know if you saw, but with the Falcons, Jalen Walker, former first-round pick, potentially maybe towards ACL. And so, of course, I wouldn't think anyone would do that on day one. I wouldn't think. But just hopefully going forward, just nothing of that. We kind of just want that to stay away, and we don't want to hear any of that negative news.
I'm knocking on my wooden desk right in front of me, Reed, because, listen, injuries are inevitable. They always throw around this saying, and I don't know if this is true. They always say football is 100% guarantee, of injury, which I'm like, tell me more about that. I mean, I feel like there's some guys that have never had, like, major injuries, but I guess maybe they mean, like, a little sprain, tweak or something. I don't know. They say it's 100%. Hopefully you definitely can limit that as much as possible, right? As a matter of fact, Lord, we pray for a very safe, healthy, and productive fall camp for all these young men, not just here at Alabama, for, across the country as they gear up for training camp. Because you're right, that is a big thing, man. I've dealt with injuries, not fun, especially when it's preseason, right? Because these guys are fired up. Like, they're excited. Like, as a football player, like, does training camp, the lack of a better word, does it stink, right? Like, somewhat. I mean, because you're talking about grueling hours, and, I mean, it's physically and mentally exhausting. I'm talking about you have no free time hardly, Rita. You're on the practice field, you're in the meeting room, you're in the weight room, you're in the cafeteria. Like my little getaway that I always had during fall camp, we would have a small window where it was around I want to say after practice. So we practiced earlier during camp than we would, like, during the season we practiced in the afternoon, right? Like we would be on the practice meeting started around, oh man, I want to say 2, I believe, and we'd be on the practice field around like 3:30, be done around 5:30 or so. But during training camp, it'd be a little bit earlier. Anyway, like early afternoon, we'd have a small window, Reed, where you'd have to training table or go get rehab, go get work done, recovery, stuff like that. And so I would not sneak back because we could do it, but I just run back to the dorms, and I would turn on like one episode. I was watching a show called Hell on Wheels. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, man. I just started watching it again. Great show, phenomenal show. I'm watching it on maybe Paramount now. I can't remember where it's at now. But anyway, I like turn on one show, Reed, and it was like the worst thing I could do because like I'd get in one show and I'd start dozing off, then my alarm would go off and it's already time to go right back up into meetings. So then you're sitting in meetings from like what felt like 4 o'clock to like 9 o'clock, man. And we'd have like a walkthrough in between that. Oh my gosh, man. Sunflower seeds, Copenhagen, I mean, Mountain Dew. My diet was terrible during camp. I mean, it was great when we were like in the cafe, but talking about meetings, oh man, we would go through bags of sunflower seeds. I'd have like the rolls of just dip, like just trying to stay up. And I'm like, dude, it's bad. It brings back so many memories. So yeah, fall camp is it's tough. But then again, it's kind of, I don't know, man. Like I said, there's all the memories. Like at night, we used to sit there and play cards. We used to sit there and play Tonk in the dorms because, you got curfew. You can't go anywhere. You're locked down in the dorms, man. We almost joked about it. Like, of course, none of us had ever been to jail or anything, but kind of felt like that, man. I heard Roman talking about camp eyes. You don't get to see any women. You're just around all your teammates for weeks at a time playing cards, like within these walls, it feels like. So we kind of just joke about it. Like, we're in the slammer. Next few weeks, man, straight football. That's it. But, yeah, it's definitely a good time, man. You're doing what you love, and, of course, geared up for the football season, which that's what it's all about, man. Football, we always say this before we hit the top of our break. Football is a very interesting sport, Reed. You know why? Because I feel like it's one of the few sports that you train pretty much year-round. You put in all this work, physically, mentally, emotionally, the whole year for what? 12 guaranteed opportunities to actually go out there and play the game? That's it. Like, so for all my folks that are still playing, man, take advantage of those moments. Because I'm telling you right now, you put in all that work, you get 12 guaranteed opportunities, hopefully 13, maybe 14, 15 if you're lucky to keep playing, right? But that's it, man. Baseball, softball, basketball, you play all those games. Football, man, you only got a few opportunities to go show it, man. So really embrace it and make sure you're ready, because once the season comes, it's live bullets, man. And if you're at Alabama, we already know standards high, targets big on your back, and you're expected to show results week in and week out. That said, we're hitting the top hour break. We come back, I believe we'll have Coach DeBoer's press conference following practice number 1 right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Atlanta Falcons gave running back Bijan Robinson a 3-year extension worth over $50 million guaranteed. The Bears gave right tackle Darnell Wright a 4-year contract extension worth over $90 million guaranteed. Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers agreed to a 4-year extension worth $108 million guaranteed. In college football's preseason coaches poll, Ohio State is number 1, Oregon is number 2. To Major League Baseball, Tampa Bay with 2 runs in the 9th and 2 in the 11th won at Colorado 9-7. Wins for Detroit and San Diego on the road. Home wins for Houston and the Cubs, who beat the Dodgers 5-1. LA has lost 5 straight. Even though Tarek Skubal was making his first start with his new team, he took the loss, allowing 2 runs in 6 innings. He had 6 strikeouts. Texas ended a 6-game losing streak thanks to a run in the bottom of the 9th, beating the Giants 5-4. Boston won its 6th in a row. The Braves won their 6th straight.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of The Game, we'll recap Alabama's first practice. Kalen DeBoer audio. We'll talk to Aaron Torres. We'll catch up with Alex Scarborough. Bama 247 Sports right here starting at 2 p.m. on The Game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome back into this Wednesday edition, first day of fall camp edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hour number 2 is officially here, underway, which means we got head coach Kalen DeBoer speaking to the media following practice number 1. I know you guys have been waiting to hear from him. So here we go. We got it pulled up. We're going to listen to it. We'll respond to it, react to it. And without further ado, here's head coach Kalen DeBoer following practice number 1 of fall camp 2026.
All right, just obviously walk off the field, number 1, as you'd expect. I mean, it's going to be high energy, and the guys will never feel as good as they feel today. So, it's no complaint, no excuses, just moving forward. The bar's been set with how they operate today, and we move on to the next. That's everything. So it's, what they eat, it's their treatment. It's pay attention to the details, and all the way through the rest of the day with our meetings, walkthroughs, whatever it might be. So looking forward to building on what we did today.
How the quarterbacks start?
I thought they were consistent. A couple explosive plays in there. A couple plays that you can just see getting on the same page with a receiver type guy. May not be a receiver, but tight ends, running backs, just these little details. So I thought they were consistent, and love the demeanor, love their just command. We're into it. You can see the belief that the guys have on them.
What do you want or need to see from those two over this first week or so of fall camp?
We talk about response. Someone's going to win a play every down, right? So there should be something when you're going against each other, and you just try to make that as game-like as possible. And so, what's the response? And that's a lot of football, and the momentum, getting it on your side and keeping it on your side. And there's going to be plays that don't go your way, but what's it look like? How are you coming together? We're identifying leaders beyond the guys that we expect to be able to stand up and when needed and take charge. And so, but as a whole team, that's what it's got to be. And right now, it's kind of an offense versus defense thing. So you're trying to at the same time build belief and confidence in each other while you're really trying to ask them one side of the ball. For discipline reasons, nothing for discipline. Just guys that are working into a couple of reps. It's really nothing major. So it's more of just guys that we're trying to see. Danny Lewis, for example, would be a guy just making sure as we worked into the physicality dial and everything. It's been a long road for him for a couple of years. And so he's in as good a spot as he's been since really after the bowl game in 2024. And so just trying to be careful with where he's at and making sure he can manage that and get a good job today. So there's a couple of guys just like that.
Caleb, this team isn't picked to finish as high as maybe what this program is used to. Do you think the guys pay attention to that? And then over the past day or so, have you felt a sense of motivation to prove people wrong?
Yeah, we are definitely aware.
Do you have an update on DJ? How's this kind of practice out there? What's he up to?
Yeah, he did some nice things. It's good to see him out there flying around. A couple of times you see what you saw from his high school highlight film, and so excited to see him. And we're not in pads right now, so a lot of that is yet to be seen. But just execution. He's a guy catches the ball well. I think he's got a really good head on his shoulders from what we've seen so far, and be able to be consistent that way. Learn the offense when it gets in there and in the rotation with the running backs like he was today. He did his job.
What can players show you during these early period where there's no pads that they are ready to be counted on this season?
Yeah, communication, just over-communicating. I think that shows how important it is to you to do the right thing, and also making sure your guy next to you, behind you, in front of you, that you're all on the same page. That helps with the attention to detail. Just a team that communicates is a team that is going to be a confident one down the road. And so it helps with our execution. That's what it's about right now is executing, doing your job first, and just building that belief and trust of the guys around you that they're going to be where they're supposed to be.
Well, how do you think they communicated today?
I thought they did a good job. I brought that up at the end of practice with them. It's one of the reasons why I was right at the front of my mind. I could see some guys being intentional. Maybe one or two guys that I asked a little bit more out of. They're doing a good job, looking great at it. And, they did it. You can see that throughout the rest of the practice. They were above and beyond. Wanted to make sure that they were living up to that standard.
There were a ton of new faces in the offensive line in the spring. How have you seen them sort of catch up?
I thought today was, I thought it looked a lot better and cleaner than what it did at the end of spring. Again, we don't have pads on, so it's really hard to tell. But I thought that from responsibilities and just, there's got to be a trust that exists. It's just doing your job. It's knowing that where's that next help? Where's that help come from? It is the double team and the footwork and, being in sync. And, you can rep a lot of those things and make sure you're on the same page this summer. And you can tell the guys have been working at that and being intentional that way too.
What's kind of the message that you're giving these guys as they start walking?
Yeah, just keep working. We've talked about working in silence since January, and these guys just doing their thing, not getting caught up in anything they can't control, we know what our goals are. We know what our expectations are. We've never shied away from that. We attack the day, and the challenge for us right now is to continue to just become one. And that's been our theme here going into camp, is just uniting. It's 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, special teams, but also as a whole program, just having each other's back. And so that's the challenge that we got to continue with so many guys in the program. I've been pleased with it, but we got to be great, because there's some big time moments that are going to be coming our way. The schedule you have, and you know that's going to happen in college football. So we got to be ready, prepared, know how we're going to respond.
What do you say to guys in position battles about the opportunity to end them during camp?
Well, you really, what you want is you want guys. You want the guy you're competing against to be at his best, right? That's what a great teammate does. And then you want to be at your best to win that position, win that battle. And so, just talking to guys about not hoping the other guy fails and isn't at his best, because that doesn't help our team. And having that again, becoming one where what the team success is, it's because of you being and doing everything that you can and being elite, and on your teammate that you're competing against to be the same.
Will Sanders full go at this point? What's it like having him back?
Yeah, it's good. It's good having him back. Guys there are very few guys on the offensive line in particular that have the snaps in our program. He's one of them, and they've missed in the spring. You feel that a little bit. Just continuity. I'm not saying execution-wise, things like that, but just another guy that knows how things go, knows the operation, knows the offense. So it's good to have him back.
Who are some guys you saw kind of setting the tone, energy-wise, leadership-wise in this first game of football camp? Yeah.
Really? I would say, it's who you'd expect. I think we've talked a lot about, I think the guys that took to media days, right? Bray, definitely. ZB does it. He's not as vocal, but man, he's got this presence about him in this way, and it's just a great 1-2 punch there. I think those guys on defense have really brought along. Others, Dijon, the experience in the secondary, it's kind of where it starts. That swagger, that's where it starts. And then with the new guys, joining in with the returners in the front seven, you can see more of that building. Guys that played a lot of snaps for us in the past, and in some of the transfers who we expect to be also key performers for us, that, again, I think have done a great job of meshing. Probably is one of the words I'd use, just meshing with the rest of the group offensively. Ryan, our quarterbacks, I think they've been great. And I think there's been a slow, build. I mean, I think, again, a lot of it's through the work, and that's what we've asked. But, Jackson Lloyd, I think you'd expect him and Michael Carroll, in the room, offensive line-wise. And I think Will get there, too, as he gets back and full go. So, I think there's other guys that have just stuck to the taking care of business. I see Caleb working, Marshall. I think Josh, has a presence when he's on the field. Still kind of, like I said, with the defensive line transfers, fitting into his role, and does it with his play, maybe less or more so than with his talk. Running backs probably the same way. Daniel Hills had a great offseason, I think. And some of those guys right there just going about their business, going about their work. Being leaders, and doesn't always have to be them to be vocal. We're going to ask that out of them, but there's a progression to it. Them taking care of their job and then bringing others with them.
Can you compare Jaden James and Nick Brooks, what you saw of them over the summer, and maybe what they need to do in the competition for the right tackle battle?
Yeah, I think just being new is still just about being consistent. And I think they're really doing. I think they've come a long ways in that area. This spring, I would say, you can see what the potential was. You can see what they're capable of. I think each of them came into June or the end of May when we returned. There was definitely them coming back now, knowing what it feels like, what the expectations are, and I think both of them had great summers. I mean, they had great summers, both of those two guys, and so I'm actually interested. Again, we didn't have pads on, but I'm interested to see the film today. specifically hold on guys like that and see what they did, see how they execute.
The difference between an Adrian Clunt run ball practice, like for that O-line, like what kinds of skills did you see out there, or what was he kind of pushing for that?
I wasn't right next to him much today. I was kind of wandering around. Different coaches stand in different spots in the field, and so you kind of know where guys are going to be, and some of it's where the coordinators are going to be at, and the signalers. I haven't gotten next to Coach Clem a lot, but I think as far as the guys, our players, I like that they have a good. I think there's a confidence in that they're being coached well, that they're making a progression, that the work that they're doing on the side is paying off. I think they can feel that. The film won't lie, and they'll be called out. I think that's what he does a great job of, but he also does it in a way where it's always teaching, it's always coaching, and he'll push them. He'll do what you'd expect the elite offensive line coach to do when it comes to demanding and getting after them. But he's also got this way of building camaraderie, which is obviously very good for offensive lines to make the offense.
So there you have it. That was head coach Kalen DeBoer speaking to the media following practice number 1. We got plenty to talk about and discuss, but first we got to head a timeout. So we're going to do that when we come back. We'll get y'all's thoughts, comments, and concerns with head coach Kalen DeBoer had to say following practice number 1 of the 2026 football season fall camp.
Call at 205-339-6540 or visit us at adamssvcs.com. We look forward to serving you.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. Roll Tide. Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of The Game, we'll recap Alabama's first practice. Kalen DeBoer audio. We'll talk to Aaron Torres. We'll catch up with Alex Scarborough. Bama 247 Sports right here starting at 2 p.m. on The Game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Blazing sunshine, high temperatures 93 this afternoon. Calm winds means means the humid air will feel thick, pushing heat index values to 100 degrees this afternoon. Partly cloudy this evening, a muggy low tonight at 74. Thursday, sunny skies, 94. Slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, sunny skies to close out the week, sizzling temperatures in the mid-90s. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 91 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Never miss a moment of the action. Download the free Tide 100.9 app today.
Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge, first day of fall camp in the books, or practice, I should say. They are not slowing down anytime soon. They've got meetings, probably a workout, more meetings, training table, treatment. They got a whole bunch of stuff planned. We're going to just talk about practice for now. We just heard from head coach Kalen DeBoer, who spoke to the media following practice number one. We kind of are breaking down some of the things that we heard read. I thought he mentioned a couple things that we probably can discuss and just bring up. Again, it's practice number one, helmets only, day one. You're kind of getting with the flow of practice. Guys are kind of getting acclimated again to being on the football field, putting the helmet on for the first time in months, right? So nothing really groundbreaking. But he did talk a lot about the offensive line. They asked him specifically about Adrian Clem. Sounds like he's confident in the direction that they're trending. You know, he mentioned specific guys and just how he's been impressed with kind of their off-season work and what they've done. You know, specifically the two right tackles that are competing with Nick Brooks and Javen James, the transfer from Mississippi State. So to me, I feel like hearing those things is always encouraging when you're talking about critical positions and key battles. I think that's nice to hear. Again, these are just words. It's just a press conference. I'm not saying like, oh, man, the offensive line is fixed now. He spoke highly of Adrian Clem, and these guys feel confident in the coaching they're receiving. If anything, I'm not saying he was like taking any shots at anybody. I'm definitely not saying that. But you can always, I feel like anytime they ask him about Adrian Clem, the way he speaks highly of him and the job that he does as a football coach, and it's clearly not intentional, but I think he's also kind of subtly expressing that they weren't getting what they needed to from the offensive line coaching spot the last couple seasons, right? Again, I don't think it's some, ill will or negative. I think he's just being honest. And to me, one of the biggest, positives of hiring Adrian Clem as offensive line coach. I always felt that he would have better teaching, right? Better install with the guys. We know how badly we need to improve the execution. I think he's going to be helpful with that. And every time we hear from Kalen DeBoer, at least over the last, few short months, right? Adrian Clem's only been here since the spring. It seems very encouraging, right? And I think that's really important when you're talking about a group that's young, that is in dire need of development. That's a very positive sign. So the more I hear stuff like that, the more I'm encouraged. But of course, nothing's going to really seal the deal until you get to go out there on the football field and see them actually put the work in and have the results that are needed for this offense to be successful. But he did mention some offensive line. He mentioned Will Sanders a couple of times. Clearly, it's trending that they're very high on him. I think there's a really good shot that he's another one of those guys that you pencil in there as one of your starters, at least, somebody that they feel comfortable with as a starter. So I thought all that stuff seemed pretty encouraging. Reed mentioned some of the leadership with the team, some of the guys that have been stepping up, whether it's more vocal guys doing it by action. I think it's interesting that a number of players he mentions when he talks about leadership are some of the guys that transferred in. Kind of interesting to me, but I think it makes sense when you have a lot of young players on your core is young guys you brought in, via high school, but then the guys from the transfer portal is going to be older guys. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but it's kind of interesting, because you're like, these guys, are new to Alabama, but then they're also the leaders. So that dynamic feels a little interesting, but if it works, cool. Trying to think if there's anything else big. I know you mentioned the quarterbacks, mentioned they both had some good moments on day one. Of course, it's day one. Everybody's kind of feeling their footing and all that, but he brought that up earlier on. I think that might have been one of the first questions. Anything else that I missed other than Rita, I was mentioned during the chat? I mean, I feel like, again, this is the way I heard it. I know a lot of people are going to be very critical anytime he speaks, right? That's just, a lot of people are like that. They read into pretty much everything, and if they're not satisfied, then they're going to let you know. But I did feel like there's a little bit of like a sense of urgency maybe. Not like at the press conference, but in terms of like the season, right? I mean, we heard that answer he gave when they asked him about the doubt. I think I played it before we started, but here it is right here.
You think the guys pay attention to that? And then over the past day or so, have you felt a sense of motivation to prove people wrong?
Yeah, we are definitely aware.
Very short and sweet answer, right? Is that motivation? The guys pay attention to that noise? He said, yeah, we're definitely aware of it. Gave him the nod. So, I mean, it almost felt to me, Reed, and this is just my take on it. Maybe other people heard it differently. But it seemed like he's just ready to get to work, right? Like, I feel like in the past there was always, it felt like, hey, like wanting to really be expressive, talking to the media, and it's kind of like, hey, like not necessarily joking around, but the demeanor was a lot different. Now it almost feels like we're out here to work. Like this is part of it, we're talking to the media, but like we're about our business, right? We're done with the talking. We're done with hearing all the external noise. And he even mentioned it, like they've been talking about this, kind of working in silence. So I don't know. It kind of sparked my curiosity a little bit. I'm like, man, maybe they are brewing something up. And maybe they like when people keep doubting them in the media. I mean, you look at the smirk on his face. I don't know. I mean, like, could he have some evil plan that he's brewing up there, Reed, that maybe they're like, yeah, keep writing us off, man, because we got something you guys don't know up our sleeve.
Yeah, that's kind of how I took this, honestly, is that, like, it's almost in the sense of, like, hey, yeah, like, jokingly, like, yeah, we get it, but like the games are over with. Like we're coming ready to work and we're coming ready for this season. And so it almost in the sense of like he didn't say it, but like at least from the people on the stream can see it, and is like at least how I took it and his just posture and everything is that almost in the sense of just wait till we get out on the field.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that a little bit. I mean, he also acknowledged they've got work to do. Right, I mean, but it did sound like he feels confident, especially like the offense line, like where they're at now compared to where they're at in the spring. If you listen to them talk during the spring, and if you had a chance to see them, even if it was just a day, or if you had a chance to go to a scrimmage, I think sometimes the Alabama members get to go to scrimmage, whatever the case may be, or you played football here and you get to go up there sometimes. I think you could also agree that in the spring they clearly had a lot of work needed to be done. Right, in the offensive line, it wasn't quite there. Which I think anybody that's reasonable would have expected that to be the case, right? You don't just bring people in all of a sudden; you just plug them in there. They've known each other for a few weeks or did the winter workouts together, and then the offensive line problems are just fixed with new faces on the line and on the staff. But it sounds like he's clearly not implying that they're where they need to be now. But it sounds like he's implying that they're trending in the right direction, at least like the offensive line. That is encouraging to me because we just know how important that piece is for this season. So really, I guess to kind of put a bow on it, all the questions that were asked, whether it's quarterback, offensive line, some of those things, I mean, I feel like the answers he gave, Reed, were clearly like, it's a work in progress, but from his perspective, he likes kind of either where they're currently at, like that starting point, knowing where they can get to. That's the vibe it gave me. Hopefully that is the case. Of course, once I get to put my eyes on him here in a few days, I mean, that would be a little bit different. But to me, I reserve judgment for like scrimmage stuff, or if they got 11-on-11, like media. That's the thing, like the media availability. When they're doing individual drills, you're not able to really see. You're able to see those guys go through just that, like indie drills. But the problem is, since with me having to be ready for the show, I would just hang out there longer just to see those 11-on-11 periods. But I don't want to run late on getting rolling on here. But anyway, that to me is kind of what I'm most looking forward to. Kind of like he mentioned, like he's eager to see guys get pads on, because at the end of the day, football is played with pads. So I mean, you can see a little bit on day 1, day 2. Day 3, if you still have helmets on. But the real test is once the pads get on, especially we're talking about trench play. So I think, to me, that's something what I would be most eager in seeing, right? The trench guys go at it. I feel like we have a good idea of kind of like skill guys outside of some of the young running backs. I feel like you kind of know what you're getting out of the skill guys on defense, skill guys on offense. You pretty much know a lot about that. But to me, like, once the pads come on, you'll really have a true, I guess, idea on where you're at with the trench play of this football team, which is uber critical. We all know that. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know when the first day in pads is, but hopefully right around the corner, because best believe we're going to be locked in on that. We got to hit a timeout. We come back and we keep discussing this press conference and more. We'll circle back to some of those record predictions, get y'all's thoughts on them, and maybe get y'all's as well here in the chat on any of our streams at The Miller's Edge. Right here, Tide.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Lease a new 2026 Chrysler Pacifica Select for $421 a month for 42 months, $39.99 due at signing.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. Roll Tide. Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance.
Tide, sold in stadium and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors.
Just go to US Mobile subreddit. Just search for US Mobile and make a decision for yourself. If you're ready, visit usmobile.com.
Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
Stay up to date with the Crimson Tide. Local high school sports and Bama in the pros right here on Tide 100.9.
Back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines. We played a little preview snippet of a video from Alabama. It's fresh off the practice field. Like it's about like 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Just a quick little interview as Coach DeBoer was coming off of the practice field. And you can catch it on Alabama. Again, I don't want to be rude and play a video that's, you got to pay for to watch. But I'll play a little snippet because maybe that encourages people to go over there and sign up. Alabama, if you want to partner up with us, feel free to do so. All right, 205-342-9904. We got Smitty up first. Smitty, welcome in.
How's it going, Christian?
It's going well, brother. How's everything? Smitty, talk to me.
Man, we're cooking out here in Phoenix. All I got to say, they ain't talking about good cooking. I'm talking about like in the oven. Yeah, I tell you. Hey, you be outside too long, you be like a piece of fried bologna out here, man.
Sounds like it. What are y'all about, like 105 or something?
Yeah, that's actually a cold day this time of year. Hey, I tell you what, man. But those record predictions, right? I don't get too caught up on those, man, because it's not even about Alabama overall. There's a lot of lazy analysis. A lot of times, if they know the name of the quarterback, you rank high, no matter how he did the year before. If they know who the players you brought on the portal, because the portal is crazy hyped up. People get super excited about portal additions if you know their name. And they do factor in last year in a lot of cases, but a lot of times in this day and age, there's so much turnover on these teams. How do we really know in most cases? Like, I think Oregon is going to be up there because they do have a good team. They brought many of those guys back. And Dante Moore said, I'd rather play college football than play for the Jets. Smart move, young man. But hey, the crazy part is, Christian, the Jets, like, we're going to stink anyway next year. We can do this all day. Ohio State brought some players back. But the thing is, I know people love knocking the board over saying. A lot of Ohio State media and fans aren't saying is the best thing ever. He's a good quarterback. But the issue of him is he hasn't been able to turn. It's first year last year, but he wasn't able to turn lemons into lemonade if everything wasn't going correctly. Because remember Bryce Young. He has a lot of lemons his first year started. Actually, his 2 years started. He made lemonade out of all of them. And that's just something right there. Indiana's going to be a good team. You guys are good teams there. But like with Alabama concerned, they keep talking about last year, a lot of those cats left. The draft, the portal, whatever, graduation. And I've always said I can't be concerned about any position group until I see them play. Because I'm not worrying myself into an ulcer or something I haven't seen. Now, do I think they can go 10-2? Sure. Can they go 9-3? Yes. But the most important game in their schedule to me is actually at Tennessee. Because we lost 2 straight there, but also is right after an emotional game at Georgia, be it versus Georgia. And I think that's a sneaky game that people aren't talking about.
That is a really good point. You're right. And, I was talking with, who was it? Was it Reed? I can't remember who it was, but I forgot that we haven't beat Tennessee in Rocky Top in years. Like, I think last time, I don't know, it was Wyatt maybe. I think it was like around COVID time or before. It's been a while. I didn't even realize that until I was talking with him. I was like, man, yeah, he's not wrong. Let me throw this back on the screen. This was one of those record predictions that we were listening to earlier. So this one had us beating Tennessee. So you mentioned that, you could see a 10-2. You could possibly see a 9-3. Hell, we don't know. But when you look at the record, or the schedule right now, Smitty, let's start with those 5 games. ECU on the road at Kentucky week 2. That one to me, I'm curious about because you're on the road week 2. You're still probably expecting growing pains. The SEC game on the road. Florida State at home, South Carolina at home. Then you go on the road and face Mississippi State. First time Coach DeBoer's ears are going to experience those cowbells. And they're kind of trending. They're trending in a direction that people are curious about with, Kamaro Taylor at quarterback, Arnett and kind of what he can do. What they've started to, I guess, develop there defensively as well. So, talk to me about those first 5 right there. How are you feeling about Bama's first 5 games? Do you feel like they go 5-0? Do you feel like they drop one that is a little bit unexpected, which we've shown to do over the last 2 years at least once? What do you think about those first 5?
I think they'll go 5-0, but I want Bama fans to come to grips that we don't have to apologize for winning. If you win at Kentucky by 2 points, it's better than losing by 2 points. Remember Coach Saban said this stuff at the end of his run. He got on fans talking about this stuff, right? And South Carolina, these teams are going to be tough because they put their pants on. Even Florida State, I don't care about beating Florida State by 4 touchdowns. I just want them to win the game. At the end of the day, it's all about winning the game. You go 5-0, you handle your business, and it gives you like some breathing room that you can drop 2. I'm not saying you designed to drop 2, but I'm talking about the reality of the schedule. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said earlier, I feel like if you go 5-0 in those first 5 games, you could, like you mentioned, if you drop 2 respectable ones, 10-2 make the college football playoffs. I don't see too many people.
See what happens.
You see what happens. I'm sure we'll see people complaining. People are going to complain about any little thing at times. But I do think, if you do drop one of those first 5, then 9-3 feels a lot more possible. That's just kind of the way I'm looking at it as of now. But I like what you said about Tennessee. Georgia's an interesting one just because it's at home, and we've actually fared well playing Georgia, right? Like, Kalen DeBoer has won, 2 of 3 games against Kirby Smart and Georgia so far in his tenure here at Alabama. But at the same time, Georgia football team is going to be a good one, right? That's kind of a toss-up in my opinion. I'm glad it's at home, of course. But in Texas A&M, LSU, one of those, I don't know. I feel more confident about A&M at home LSU, I know a lot of people are kind of questioning Lane Kiffin, which I get it. It's all new. But, I mean, when you go get talent like he has and you pair it up with the coaching staff that he has, I don't know, man. I think that could definitely be a challenge. I mean, what do you think about that LSU game, Smitty?
I don't like that quarterback. I live in the area. Nah. He wasn't too hot when, what's his name, Scatterboo left. I'm not saying he's terrible, but I think he's a placeholder because they didn't have anybody better for this year. And Lane went after other options first. But and plus, the guy's coming off of Liz Frank. I think people are forgetting this, But they do have a former 5-star, Hussein Longstreet, who left USC and went to LSU. So you never know, you may see him. But I do think they have a lot of talent. But how can Lane Kiffin hold up with these crazy expectations, the crazy media now? Because Ole Miss, you go at 9-3, 8-4, they're building a statue. LSU fired 2 coaches who won national titles.
Yeah, I was about to say, unless you dip out the way he did. Hell, they probably would have built Lane a statue if he would have left with a little more merit. I mean, yeah, they stuck around a little bit. He left a little, with a little bit more merit. Probably would have been, I guess, a different situation. But
yeah.
Well, how about? Didn't LSU brought in another quarterback via the portal, right?
Hussein Longstreet. He was a 5-star at USC. I got a buddy who's an SC fan, and you don't want to ask his thoughts on Lane Kiffin on live radio. That's all I got to say. We was at that game when he got fired on the tarmac. But I'll say this, though. That's why Kayla, the boys' press conference. I'm like, thank you, Kayla, for stop being nice to these crazy nut job media. You saw how they talk about you anyway. Stop being nice to them. You got to be a strong man like Nick Saban was. They're going to talk bad about you anyway. Go ahead, be strong, go off. Don't give them nothing. Because as soon as you give them something, they go at you then. Give them nothing. But I think what happens is also, I wonder if he told his players, don't say nothing to these people, like trying to disrespect and everything. But I just think what happens also, people are pretty much saying all summer, Alabama ain't bleep. These players ain't bleep. The coaches ain't bleep. At the end of the day, are you going to have the pride in yourself to step it up or go down swinging? Or are you going to prove those people right? But what I saw for those young players, those boys got some heart. And I'll say that to FSU. If you go 9-3, go with the kids. Me and those kids they put in, they showed the heart. They showed the toughness. They showed hunger. I saw that. That's why I'm not totally pessimistic about the squad. I just think that youth may get them. And I say, if I'm going 9-3, Christian, I'm going 9-3 with Keelan Russell. Sorry. Hate to say it. Because you don't need to go 9-3, miss a playoff with the experienced guy. You go 9-3, miss a playoff potentially with the young guy. Texas did that last year. Because you still going to have to start this boy one day anyway. And that's just something that I just look at there. And I'll say this before I run. Got a question for you. And I'll take it off. When you talk about Big Steve, right? Y'all talk about stamina and stuff like that. How does he improve that with football shape compared to regular in shape? Because I know you talk about that a lot. And what are some ways someone can improve in that regard?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I'll definitely I'll take that. Smitty, I appreciate you, brother. You have a great rest of your day, man.
Hey, you guys have a good one too.
Yes, sir, man. Good deal. I'll answer real quick before we hit this break read. Yeah, I mean, football shape, Smitty is 100% right. Totally different than getting in shape. I see we got Lisa Rawls in the chat. I know she's in impeccable shape, right? But it's crazy. Working out and doing that stuff is so different than football shape that, you got to be able to kind of differentiate the two, right? So one thing I would say is you can do things off the field, Reed, like whether it's stair climb or whether it's, you just any regular conditioning things, right? Exercises where you're getting your I guess your blood pumping and you're really working those lungs. You can do those things to help get in shape, but then you also have to work on football shape. And what I mean by that is think about football and how it was played. It's a lot of short bursts, right? The average play we always say is 6 seconds. We came up with a thing one year. It was 6 seconds of hell, right? So for 6 seconds, it's just going to be all out, 150%, just complete somebody, right? Then the play ends. You get a moment, right? And then you got to you rinse and repeat. Now, unless you're playing a fastball team, that goes no huddle. That's a little bit different, but you got to get in shape for that. So to answer Smitty's question, the best way to get in football shape, number one, is do the things outside, right, of football to get in the proper shape, to have to lay the foundation for practice. And then at practice, you have to practice a certain way. That is the best way to get into the correct football shape. Anytime that you're getting reps in practice, right, we go by racks, right? So you might have a rack of 4 plays for the ones, a rack of 4 plays for the twos, right? You got a few plays, you're in there, and then you're going to have a few plays off. When you're in there, you have to go 150%. Like, you have to challenge yourself, because that's how you build those habits, and that's how your body really starts getting accustomed to operating at that level. And then when the game comes, you know what I mean? You just naturally are playing a certain way, right? You're playing to your own standard that you set by your practice habits. So that would be my advice, because I'll be honest with you. I mean, game shape is tough, man. When you're running around with a helmet and shoulder pads and it's like quick bursts, and not just that. Think about this, Reed. You're using stamina, right? Especially when you're in the trenches. When you got big 330-pound guys leaning on you, that requires stamina. You're not running around, but you're holding your ground. You're holding up. You're trying to forcefully push through somebody, and then you're turning, getting out of the stack, and running full speed, trying to chase somebody down, running back to the football, getting in your stands. It's a lot. So yeah, you just have to just kind of really just practice what you're going to be doing on a football field. That's one of the best things. That's why you see a lot of guys train in the off season with helmets. They put their helmet on and they do like football specific training exercises. So really good question. So that would be my way of getting into game shape as quick as possible. Then just do an extra after practice, man. Why not? When you're tired, right? Just like when you're working out, those reps when you're about to fail, those are the best opportunities to really gain more muscle and gain more strength. So very similar stuff on the football field. Good question. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we have our final segment here on this Wednesday edition, first day of fall camp right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of The Game, we'll recap Alabama's first practice. Kalen DeBoer audio. We'll talk to Aaron Torres. We'll catch up with Alex Scarborough. Bama 247 Sports right here starting at 2 p.m. on The Game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2.
That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Blazing sunshine, high temperatures 93 this afternoon. Calm winds means the humid air will feel thick, pushing heat index values to 100 degrees this afternoon. Partly cloudy this evening, a muggy low tonight at 74. Thursday, sunny skies, 94. Slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, sunny skies to close out the week, sizzling temperatures in the mid-90s. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 91 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
24/7, 365. We've got all your coverage of the Crimson Tide on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge. First day of fall camp officially in the books, at least in terms of practice. We got a super chat from Lisa Ross. Thank you so much. As we wrap things up, she says a super chat for a super show. Yeah, I got a lot from Alabama. Yeah, I get a lot from Alabama subscriptions, but also a ton from the Miller's Edge. Roll Tide, roll, a tuition payment made today. I appreciate the kind words and, of course, the support, right, with your super chat. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you guys treated like a football school, man. That's the goal, man. We want to teach the game while we entertain you a little bit, inform you guys a little bit, and keep you guys updated. So thank you guys so much, seriously, for all the support, whether it's super chat or just hanging out with us. We've had a boatload of people tuning in, Reed. We've got hundreds of people tuning in just on our streams alone. That's not even including radio and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much, man. Football's back. It feels great. And we appreciate you, Lisa, for the kind words and that super chat. Thank you so much. And like she mentioned, Alabama, they do have some really good content they've been pumping out. I don't know if you've checked it out, Reed, but it's like $5 a month. Again, I played a little snippet from that video, but Andrew Bone is posting a bunch of content. So I feel like Alabama, if you're an Alabama fan, you're in a good spot, man. You got a lot of good people doing some stuff. I know, Clinton was on the show yesterday. He's doing some stuff with Bama Online. I know our folks love listening to that. I feel like we do a pretty good job here on the Miller's Edge, so you can always tune in for us if you want real football-specific stuff, breakdowns, really talking about the X's and O's. Now, Alabama's got Andrew Bone putting out, really good content, whether it's videos or just articles and stuff. So I feel like right now, man, we're in a really good space. Of course, Tide 100.9, all the shows and coverage as well, so make sure you guys are staying up to date with that. Before we get out of here, I got to remind you about our friends over at Lamprilla Law Education and Advocacy. Again, remember, if you need anything in terms of representation, whether it's any criminal defense matter, academic misconduct, NIL situations, contact Lamprilla Law. They will take great care of you, first-class service. They love serving Alabama folks, I promise. Adam will hook you up if you're an Alabama fan. I guarantee you that much. But even so, they are affordable. They will beat out the competition. They got representation that you can afford. So check them out. Plus, they also have services. If you guys are or have any high school, college, or graduate students that are in need for test-taking preparation, subject matter mastery, academic and career planning, they also help out tremendously with that. Go to their website, lamperillo-law.com, where you can schedule yourself a free consultation with Adam and his team, and they'll get you covered. Again, that's Lamperillo Law, the official representation here on the Miller's Edge, which, matter of fact, Adam will be joining us tomorrow. So looking forward to talking with him here on the show. We got another super chat before we go from my guy, Piano Man. Thank you so much for the support, man. Appreciate you always hanging out with us, talking football, as we appreciate all you guys listening, tuning in right here on Tide 100.9, all of our streaming platforms, as we get you guys ready for the season. But right now, we're digging into training camp. Day 1 in the books. We'll be back for day 2 tomorrow, right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9,